Scars on the surface, but they deeper within. Every stitch is a chapter, every break is a win. From the pain we ascend, like the phoenix we rise. Scars podcast, where the truth never lies.
We are back with another episode of Scars. Today I got my brother Deshaun joining me. What's going on, my guy? How are you?
Brother, I'm all right.
Thank you for stopping by, man, to share some scars with us. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm feeling good. You know, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, it's long overdue. You know, I'm here. You know? Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
So my brother, you know what I mean, what are some of your scars?
I would say when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to be called a lot of names.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
And it was all about my, believe it or not, my complexion.
Yeah?
You know, I'm smiling now, you know, but back then, you know, as a kid, it wasn't funny to me.
Okay.
You know, shit, man, I was called every name, you know, Blackie, Black Spook, you know what I'm saying? So many, like, I heard them all, you know, and as a kid, you know, growing up, that will mess with your self-esteem, you know? So, yeah, I had to deal with that even in elementary school.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people didn't know that. I held that in. And it came from people that looked just like me. You
Really?
know, they might have just been a little shade lighter, you know, and that's what I heard, you know. So, yeah, that's something that I couldn't never wrap my mind around. And it was times, you know, I couldn't really pay attention in school because I was worried about how people looked at me. I always felt different, you know. I had people tell me at an early age, you know, damn near practically a baby, that I need to stay out the sun. You know, how do you tell a kid he needs to stay out the sun? You know, I thought this was like a curse, you know, me being so dark, you know, even in school, you know, like I said before, I was teased a lot, you know, and growing up, you know, about my black skin. And
see, Wesley Snipes changed all that. He made it so, you know what I mean, light skin was soft, bro.
Shout out to Big Daddy Kane too, man, because he you know, he made it cool for the dark skinned brothers, you know. And and I can remember this one time I was in school, right? And you know, I had an afro, and if you around my age, you know, or older, you would know, you know, the shags, that's what was in.
Okay.
Right? So I wanted the shag. So my mom you know, she wasn't feeling that. So I got a number one all the way around. Anyway, nice shape up. So I goes to school the next day. I'm feeling good, you know. And that's, you know, every now and then we would have chocolate milk. But it was mainly white milk, right? So one day this little girl, she's looking at me, and then she's looking at the chocolate milk. But this is when the milk used to be darker. So she says to me, "You look just like this black chocolate milk." This is what she said. So this was about first grade. This is how early this started. So I went home upset, you know, because it bothered me all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking to my mom, you know, and my mom was the type that wouldn't baby us. You know what I mean? She like, you know, basically toughen up. She told me my haircut looked fine, and I'm thinking it's my haircut that made me look darker, right? I'm a kid, I don't know, you know.
So do you think because of that, you kind of had a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
that's
then,
why you always got in fights and stuff?
Yeah, early.
Really?
I mean, shit, early, man. And then I would say you know, another scar, far as, you know, early age, me being in school, you know, I feel like the school system, you know, they fucked me over.
But hold on, before we go to the school system, like how does that scar of complexion affect you today? Does it still have an
No.
effect on you?
No, not at all. Not
Okay.
at all. Not at all.
So you're not one of them dudes that want to go take the light skin pills.
No.
So you can get lighter. You
no,
good?
Not at
Okay,
all.
that's
not
what's
at
up.
all. But matter of fact, let me rewind if that's okay. I remember in school, you know, it was these two sisters, you know, that live not too far from the school, and me and my brother, the one that's closer to my age, the middle brother, he's dark as me, but not as dark as me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So anyway, he got teased a little bit too. So it was these girls, they always used to say, you know, to me and him, but mainly me, Blackie, Blackie. That's what we used to hear, right? So I saw her, you know, in my early 20s. Come to find out, she got hooked on crack. So anyway, she says to me, could I spare $1? If not 50 cents. So before I could say anything, my brother, he says to me, hey, yo, D, you remember her, right? So I said, hell yeah, I remember that bitch, you know, because I was still tight. I was still in my feelings, you know. But, I said more than that. But, yeah, I cussed her out.
Really?
Yeah. I was still tight, you know.
She was strung out on drugs.
Yeah.
And asked for 50 cents, and you still took the time to curse her ass out.
Because I remembered her.
Okay.
My brother remembered. She remembered me. I know she did, but she tried to act like she didn't.
So how would you tell your kids to handle being teased over their complexion?
I would tell them it's beautiful. Your complexion is beautiful. You know, like I said, you know, my mom, she told me, but it was like rough, like, you know, like basically man up. You know, it wasn't those exact words, but, you know, and then she was telling me, you know, how good my haircut looked. And I even said something to a teacher about it one time. And, you know, she said, Deshaun, you look so nice, you know, and.
Well, by 14, you had it under control, because I don't ever remember you having a problem with it.
Well, I didn't talk about it. You know, some people still did, you know, believe it or not. Because shit, man, you know, if you like, I'm 50, you know, so I'm old enough to remember to the 80s, you know, the early 90s, you know, if you was light-skinned cat, you had the wave spinning, you was in. It didn't matter what you looked like, you know. The girls wanted the light-skinned brothers, you know what I'm saying?
They were always considered the soft ones, though.
And then, but then
that came with it.
It also was like that for the dark-skinned females, because years ago, a lot of guys, they frowned upon dark females. That's my complexion. They frowned on them, you know? But now, man, they chase them dark-skinned women now. You know, about one of my other scars is, you know, I feel like the school system did me dirty, you know. They put me in special education classes, and I always felt like, you know, I didn't need to be there. You know, I just needed more patience coming up. You know, they looked at me like if I had a learning disability, but it was just me being a class clown, fighting.
It was easier for them to not educate, right? You know,
Yes.
like, you know, we didn't get the best teachers, the best school system.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was easier for them to push you through, you know,
Yeah.
because they were betting that
And
you were going to end up dead or in jail.
That's what I did, you know. Like some of the classes and teachers that they will put onto you, like you wouldn't even have to open up a book if you didn't feel like it, you know. And some days I did, some days I didn't, you know. Snuff is slow about me, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people. The
Yeah.
system is designed.
Yeah.
That is a system that is designed to push you through, you know, and they did a great job at just anytime you had an issue or needed extra help, they're gonna push you off into slow classes.
And you know, back then it was screwed up, but like the way it is now, it's even worse because, you know, these young ladies, like sometimes I'm ear hustling, you know, they might not be talking to me directly, but I'm listening, you know, and I can hear some of the conversations where they just saying, you know, they going to give their kids melatonin to go to sleep, and, you know, because they might got a appointment, you know, as far as a guy coming over, or they shoving tablets in their face. Yeah, man, yeah. It's funny, but it's sad at the same time, man. You know, if it ain't the phone, it's the tablet, you know. Video games, they just want them out their face, and you know, yeah, it's sad, man. You know.
Do you think because of the school system kind of passing you through, it was easier for you to turn to the streets as your option?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean,
so you would say that the scar from the system kind of not doing its job.
Yeah, I would say it was a little bit of everything. You know, and then, you know, me coming up, I knew right from wrong. But sometimes you still need someone in your ear to break shit down to you, to really let you know the dangers of certain things, the backlashes you're gonna get, you know.
Well, everything happens so fast, right? Like it's different now. Like now you have social media, you have this, you have that. Back when we were coming up, it was just when you go outside, you outside. Yeah. Couldn't nobody call you, couldn't nobody page you, you outside. So it was nothing but trouble to get in. Yeah. And if you didn't feel you had a future, you know, it was easy to turn to the streets.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Like it was, that's where you knew you could have a job.
And also like, you know, I was in, you know, regular high school, and it was so easy to cut, you know.
Gotcha.
Panzerotti truck out there, you know, I'm eating the Panzerotti, first lunch period. You might catch me out there the third lunch period. That's when they had 3 lunch periods when I was a freshman. You know, even the security guards there, they didn't care. They see you walking out the door, they know what you're doing, you know, and it was just that easy.
So let's look at your scars, right? So your first scar was, you know, at a very young age, you were teased about your complexion, right? So before you even knew how to handle that, that was like fresh out when kids should be learning their ABCs, you had to worry about somebody comparing you to chocolate milk.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And
telling me to stay out the sun.
So that's where you kind of really had to harness your fighting in thick skin, right? Yes. Early on. Yes. Then next, the school system failed you. So you were in a position where now you had to let the streets teach you. Mm-hmm. Right? Did you get in any trouble because of that circumstance?
Yeah. Okay. I got in plenty of trouble, you know. 2 juvenile cases, 1 adult, you know. I got in trouble.
Okay,
know?
So tell us about that story.
I was about 15, 16 when I first got arrested. My homie come get me, you know. I'm in the house, minding my business, and he's outside, and he got this nice little white car. So where we used to be at, it was a crack house, you know. A lot of people, you know, used to rent out their cars back then. So he's telling me, you know, that this guy, you know, he bumped into, had the car. So he gave him, you know, a couple of dollars, you know. I say it was about $20 to rent the car, you know, for about 3 hours, you know. So I didn't pay it no mind because I see the keys in the ignition. So we joyriding, driving, you know, riding around all through the city. So we decided to go to the bowling alley, next town over. So when we get there, it's a cop in the parking lot already. So, you know, the way the bowling alley was, you could see through the glass. And back then, you had the stand-up video games that you know, stand up and play. But at the same time, one of my boys was like, hey, man, look, it's more police out there in the parking lot. So we were like, you know, we ain't paying them no mind. The worst thing they could do was, if they're, you know, worried about us, the worst thing they could do is give us a ticket, you know, no license and this and that or whatever, right? So next thing you know, we turns around and we get the bowling and stuff like that. And man, they ran up in there, man. I mean, it was about 15 of them. And they came through, you know, 2 different doors. So they must have called the people at the bowling alley, you know, the management or whoever, because that other door, they opened that door for them, you know, so nobody don't run. So it just so happened that one of my boys, he had a BB gun on him. They thought that was real. They found out it wasn't. Anyway, come to find out, the car was stolen. So we go to the youth center, and they told us it was stolen. And you know, I'm mad at my boy. Like, you know, he's you know, explaining himself, and he's apologizing. And he's telling me, like, you know, D, man, I would never do that to you. Like, you know, like, I mean, if it's stolen, all right, let me know beforehand so I could be ready to run or do whatever, right? But anyway, the next day, you know, because when you're a juvenile, you go to court the next day for your first hearing. Anyway, it was a lady there, and the car, it was a rental car. So the crack fiend, he took the car from over Philly. The lady said, you know, to the judge, she went inside to go get her baby from the babysitter, but she left the car running. So it was a tall, older man jumped in the car. She saw the man take off with the car. So he brings it to Jersey, you know, and rents it to us. Well, to my boy. And us at that age, you know, we didn't really ask too many questions. You know, we just wanted to drive.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So so the lady looks at us. She looks at me. She looks at my boy. She says, no, that's not them. You know? So I'm feeling good, you know? And the judge wasn't trying to hear it because we were still joyriding. It was receiving stolen property, you know? But,
okay.
You know, then after that, that's when the robbery, you know, had happened with my man, you know. Like I say, he's no longer here. He did something, and me and the other person that I was telling you with the car, he was there again, and we got in trouble for that because we were there. the last time I got in trouble, it was for a robbery. But before that, it was receiving stolen property and joyriding and stuff like that.
Okay, so all this was when you were a teenager?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. So and you know, like far as the robbery goes, right? It was just me at the time, just somewhere where as though I shouldn't have been. You know,
Gotcha.
I didn't actually do it. I'm there.
Okay.
You know, so before you know it, you know, police is coming, and you know,
So
it was something someone else did. You know, but you know how that go. If you're there, you know,
Yeah.
you're just as guilty. So yeah.
so that had to be a scar,
Yeah.
being convicted of something that you were innocent of doing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So okay.
And you know, after that, you know, I came home. I did it about a year, and I came home, and it didn't take me long. You know, I got in trouble again. But before I did that, I signed myself back in school.
Okay.
You know, because I wanted to finish that, and you know, I got in trouble again. You know,
I think a lot of that stems from your earlier scars.
yeah,
You know what I mean? When you think of the system and everything else, like again, you know, growing up in that neighborhood, you could be walking down the street and cops grab you. That's not an uncommon thing for it to get in trouble back then.
yeah.
You know, right? Okay. So
And you know, it was like certain things that used to bother me. I wouldn't really say this was a scar, but it damn sure taught me a lesson. You know, about some of the people that I used to hang around. You know, early 90s, you know, they would always seem to need some help. You know, I was the type of person that would stick my neck out for if I love you and I rock with you, you know, I'm there. You know, I'll say like, you know, either we gonna run together, we gonna whoop some ass together, or we gonna get our ass whooped together. Either way, we're gonna do it together.
okay.
You know, so that's where I was at with it. You know, it was like you know, one time, you know, I'm out there and, you know, like 19th Street, 19th and Wayne, you know, that's us, you know, like we ain't let nobody come through there do nothing, you know. And I mean, just like any part of town, you know, you might have some softies, you know. And we had a couple of softies and we had some soldiers too, you know. But one thing that stood out, like it's funny, right? Because I had got jumped, you know, and I you know I took it like a G, you know. Both of my eyes are swollen, you know, and people was telling me like, "Yo, man, you know, put some sunglasses on." I said, "Hell no," you know. I got jumped, you know. I'm not ashamed of that. I got jumped, right? So, you know, this is, you know, when I'm like really getting in trouble. And I remember, you know, it was one particular evening, you know, was a couple of guys that used to be around, and I mean, it was stolen vehicles out there. You know, I never stole a vehicle.
Okay.
But I used to be in them, you know, and that's how I learned how to drive. So anyway, it's about 2 or 3 cats out there, you know. I'm not going to say their names, you know. But they was just telling me, "Man, I wish I was there with you, man. I would have did this, I would have did that. So I told him, don't worry about it. Because we going out there tonight, you know? And that's when the tone changed. They said, what? What you mean we going out there tonight? Yeah, we going out there tonight, you know? So, I was always that type of person, you know, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back, you know? And I've been trying, you know, to let that go, you know, that type of energy, you know, that anger and wanting to get revenge all the time, you know.
So that comes from your early years of having to deal with, you know, being teased.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Okay.
A little bit of everything, you know. And me always, like, whatever crowd I'm in, I'm the smallest person, you know. And sometimes I didn't want to fight, you know. I had to fight because I didn't like to be bullied, you know. And then, you know, sometimes people will look at me and see how small I am. And in their mind, they already got in their mind that they have that fight won until I start punching on them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, I wasn't never really, you know, a troublemaker, a bully, you know, but I just always felt like on the defense, like I had to protect myself, you know, because I've seen a lot of people in the neighborhood, you know, get disrespected, you know, smacked upside their head, run their pockets and everything, man. I mean, anything you could think of, I seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen it. And I'm just like, nah, that can't be me, you know. I can't get down like that.
So your first two encounters with the police, you know, were actually, you were innocent. One, you just happened to ride with someone in the car to the bowling alley. And the second, you were somewhere when someone robbed somebody.
Yeah. But I didn't really look at it like that because, you know, I did, you know, stupid things that, you know, I didn't get in trouble for. I mean, we all did, you know, so.
Do you have any scars behind going to prison, going to jail?
The only thing that really hurted me about that was hurting my mom.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Hurting my mom, you know, because, yeah, you know, she came to see me and, you know, I could tell when, you know, someone's, you know, not their self and trying to put that brave face on and I saw it, you know, even when I hugged her and she hugged me when it was time for her to leave, you know.
Okay.
Shit, I broke down, you know. I didn't do it in front of her, you know, but yeah, it was tough, you know what I'm saying? And you know, back then, you know, it was bad at times, you know, you get homesick, like, you know.
Does the being locked up and having to go to court, you know, behind, you know, some of the things you got, has that scar does it affect your decisions you make today? Like,
oh yeah, because I'm older, I'm wiser, you know. It's so much stuff that I did then that I would not do now, you know. And it's just the stuff that I tried to explain to my son. And, you know, believe it or not, my son, you know, he thinks I'm a square because, you know, it's a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of. And I don't let him know everything, but I let him know enough. You know, I let him know that I got in trouble before, you know. Now, and not even just with him, my daughters, you know, if they ask me anything, you know, if I don't want them to know, I won't speak on it.
Okay.
You know, but if they ask me and if I choose to talk about it, it will be the truth. You know, I mean, I'm a lot of things, you know, a lot of things, some good, some bad, but one thing I'm not is a liar.
Okay.
You know, so, you know.
So you have any other scars you want to share with us, man?
Yeah, drinking at an early age, man. That started around the same time, about 14.
14? Okay.
Yeah, 15. Yeah. And that shit fucks it, man. Yeah, it messed me up pretty bad, man.
Okay. Well, and what way?
I mean, like, in the beginning, it felt like it was cool, because I seen other people do it. It was in my household, my mother's side, my father's side, my family members came along before me, friends. I seen it, everywhere, but I knew that it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. And I didn't have no one to sit me down and just say, hey, this is what can happen from you drinking.
Gotcha.
All I was told was it was wrong. It was no good for you.
Okay.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody never broke it down to me and told me, hey, you could get from this, like for me, for an example, I'm borderline diabetic, from drinking Seagrams, for years. I didn't even like have no chaser with that. I would just drink it down straight like it was spring water, and then after I stopped drinking the clear liquor, I started drinking the brown liquor.
Okay.
But anyway, sometimes, my acid reflex bothers me, and how it affect me, shit, man, when before I tried to stop, I was just feeling all these types of butterflies, and it was like aching, pain,
So, but when you say before you stop, like did something happen to have you say, you know what, maybe I need to back up from alcohol? Like, what was it? Was there something that triggered you?
Well, it was a few things. And like I said, I wasn't liking how I was starting to feel my body.
Gotcha.
And my mental. I would wake up with hangovers, and they wasn't like average hangovers.
So how old were you around this time when it started to happen?
About when I quit.
When you started to feel like maybe alcohol.
I say about 34.
Okay, 34. So you started drinking at 14.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 18 years, right?
Yeah.
So you saying like after 18 years of you drinking,
and smoking like about a pack and a half a day, because if any alcoholic know, that them cigarettes, I don't care what kind you smoke, or if it's a mild, black and mild, whatever, that goes hand in hand.
Okay.
You can't have one without the other.
Okay.
So when I put that shit down, man, it was like I felt like I was losing my mind. And back to what you asked me earlier, how did it affect me? My stomach lining, I'm borderline diabetic. I have to watch what I eat now. It caused depression, anxiety. It gave me panic disorder. I couldn't travel well. I still go through that, till the day. I go through that. I am driving.
Okay.
I am driving. And the reason why I don't mind sharing this is because I came a long way from where I used to be. That alcohol will put you in a dark place. It was times my depression was so bad, I broke down. You know, I broke down and shit, you know, in my apartment by myself. I broke down and, you know, it was plenty of times I was crying. And I didn't even know why I was crying. Some of the times I knew. And some of those times I was like, shit, you know, I'm just taking a look at my life. And I wasn't liking how my life turned out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you know, my advice will be, you know, if you're going to drink, just don't abuse that alcohol, man. You know?
So you gave up drinking. So how long have you been sober?
A few more days. Yeah, it'll be 15 years.
15 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm very, you know, I'm very proud of that, you know, and it's not easy. It's not easy, man, you know. And
So it was definitely easier to start than to stop.
oh,
right?
definitely.
Because
definitely.
it started for you as something to do recreational, right? Just to have fun. You out, you hanging out.
Then your body starts to depend on it.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know, even if you say, hey, I'm putting that down, you know, see some people like they don't look at alcohol as a drug, man. And I don't see why not. Some people are smart enough to know that, but a lot of people aren't. You know, it will mess you up.
Okay.
You know, it will tear your body. It will break you down, you know?
So you mentioned some of the times when you were in your apartment crying, you knew why you were crying, and some of the times you didn't. What are some of the scars that could have caused you to cry in your apartment? What are some of the things you thought about there?
Like I said, I would just look at my life.
Okay.
You know, and like I said, I didn't like how it turned out. Then at times I felt like I let my kids down, you know. It's yeah, that shit is hurtful, you know. That alcohol, it really screwed me over, you know. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, I quit also because I didn't want them to see me like that. You know what I mean? And it was one time that I would never forget that I felt like a punk. I felt less than a man. You know, I just felt at my lowest. You know, one evening, my son was at an after-school program. This is when he was much younger. And my cousin was there. Man, it was like this, you know, and I asked him to go pick my son up. Just made it like it wasn't no big deal. But my anxiety and shit, it was kicking my ass. And he just looked at me like, man, come on, take this ride with me. And I'm just making up every excuse in the world, you know, and I couldn't even pick my own fucking son up, man. You know, that feeling like,
Wow.
you know, yeah, man, it just, yeah, you know, and I would never forget it. You know, long as I live, I would never forget it. But, you know, I know one thing, you know, for sure. And, you know, people say never, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to never drink again. I'm going to never drink again. The doctor didn't tell me stop drinking. You know, this was a choice that I decided to do, like I decided to make, and I'm not doing it. I'm not smoking no cigarettes.
That's what's
You know
up,
what I'm saying?
man.
Because I'm not trying to check out. I'm not trying to check out early. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like, you know, I kind of felt my kids. That's why, you know, I'm there for my grandkids the way I am.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
So, you know, you live, you learn, you know what I'm saying? And being a part of a man, you know, you gotta know when you fuck up.
So
admit you're wrong.
You have become that person that you say you needed when you were a kid. For your kids and grandkids. You have become that voice of reason to explain to them why not to do something. Not just say don't do it. You're able to give them, listen, this is how you're going to end up if you go down that road.
Yes.
So that's
yes,
what's up.
Man. Yeah.
What are some other scars, man, brother, you want to share with us today?
Oh man. One of those scars, when I was working, I was roofing, and it was this one fella. He was a very good brother. He was the reason why we learned most of what we learned.
Okay.
Because the foreman and the other guys, they don't really want to teach you nothing. But anyway, this guy, man, he rolled paper, he mopped. If need be, he go down off the roof. He run the kennel. He did it all, and
he was willing to teach y'all.
Yes.
So he was more like a mentor.
Good
when
brother.
it came to work. Okay.
Good brother. Yeah, man. And we up there, and but this morning it was very, very chilly. So I just start hearing people yelling, So I turn around and I'm seeing people, running, and now I'm hearing equipment go off, and I'm on the other side of the roof. I don't even remember what I was doing at the time, So then I took a real good look. I see the gentleman I'm just talking about. He's laid out on the roof.
Wow.
So I'm like, I go over there, and I'm thinking he just hurt himself, So when I get there, I looks at him, and his eyes is rolling in the back of his head. I see his belly moving, he's breathing. The fog is coming out of his mouth.
Okay.
So come to find out, he's having a heart attack,
Wow.
So everybody's screaming, call the ambulance, the paramedics, and the building where we was at, it was like in a cut. You had to go up one ladder, a very, very long ladder, to the first level. Then it was a second ladder.
Okay.
So it was 2 levels. So we know the paramedics is on their way.
Okay.
Right? So everybody's trying to remain calm. All of a sudden, we don't see the fog coming out of his mouth no more.
Wow.
So we all just looked at each other. We knew what time it was. And we just like, just walk away, but not walk away and leave him, but we just like turned around like, fuck, like, because we knew, and then when these guys finally make it up there, the paramedics, when they finally make it up there, they just walking so slow with their equipment. So one of the other old heads, he was about to catch a charge. He screaming on them, telling them to get over there, like hurry up. They working on him, we watching all of this. They working on him and shit, So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to keep the hope, the faith, like he's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. This is what I'm telling myself. He's going to be all right. And they pumping him and pumping his chest and shit, And now I'm starting to look at the different brothers up there, they dropping tears and shit. So, and I didn't let it out right then and there, because I think I was like, still like more into shock, once they lift him up, now the firefighters are there, and it's just like when I looked at his eyes, while they taking him off the roof, I knew what time it was. I mean, we all knew. The other guy that used to take us to work, that's the other old head, my man, right? So he cussing at the foremans, he ready to go at them.
Okay.
So
why?
Because him and the guy that passed away, they were tight.
Okay.
So matter of fact, he had a hot cup of coffee in his hand, and he just threw it at the foreman. He said, "We not doing shit up here no more. We leaving." So that was my ride. That was everybody's ride.
Okay.
You know, we had different crews up there, and who I was with, that was our little crew.
Okay.
You know, from Camden. You know, so yeah, man. You know, so they telling him to calm down, and he walking back and forth. So I'm like, damn. You know,
how has that scar of watching a mentor, like you watching someone that, number one, you respected, right? Number two, there's not a lot of people take the time to teach anything. All right.
His daughter's mother, I knew her very well.
Okay.
She used to come to my house all the time
Mm-hmm.
because her and my lady was friends.
Okay.
You know? So, I mean, people ask me like hundreds of times over and over, what happened? And I didn't really want to
Gotcha.
keep explaining it to other people, but for her, I did that.
Gotcha.
Because she wasn't, that's this kid's mother.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and she just kept asking me, D, tell me, did he suffer? Did they let him suffer? And I'm just like, how the fuck do I answer that? Like, he had a heart attack. You know, you know.
You think that's another reason why you kind of take care of yourself, kind of watching someone leave here, you know? Do you think that might have helped trigger you to give up drinking, give up smoking, you know, and vow to kind of never turn back to it?
Yes, and the thing is, with that situation, man, yeah, it stuck with me, and I would never forget it. You know, another situation, you know, people don't know. You know, when my mother had her heart attack, I was there.
Wow.
You know, I was there. And I don't know for sure if she knew what was going on. She just knew she was in pain. She was bent over. And she was talking. She was standing up, but leaned over. And instead of, because I was at my mom's house. I was in my niece's room on the computer. She opened the door, but she's leaning over. And she says to me, I remember she says, asked me, is my brother around? But I think what it was, she was trying to remain calm.
Got you.
So I don't, you know, panic or worry. So she said, call him and see if he's around. Now, he's living way out in Del Air. And she's, you know,
Got you.
nice little ride away. It just so happens that my brother is in Camden. So I said, hey, man, what you doing? All right, mom needs you. She's in pain. She said she needs to go to the hospital. And usually he dragged his feet. But this one particular day, this evening, he came quick. So she was having a heart attack.
Okay.
You know, and it got worse because he was telling me, you know, he had to run red lights because she couldn't sit still. She was like trying to get out the car while he was driving because she couldn't like really breathe, you know. But now that was 2010. That's when I stopped drinking.
Okay.
So that was another reason why I quit drinking. You know, yeah, man, I seen a lot, you know.
Okay.
I've been through a lot, you know. So yeah, man.
Are there any other scars you want to share with us today?
Nah, but I just would like to tell people, you know, that's going through, you know, any anxiety, depression, you know, just to reach out to somebody, talk, you know. Some years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this, you know. I would say, you know, I'm not telling my business. For what? You know, because people don't care. That's how I would feel years ago.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm in a better space, man. And it's not about, worrying about what other people think. It's about getting that off of you, getting that weight off of you. Some people don't know how to ask for help, and I feel like, if, somebody's listening, they might say, hey, man, I know what he went through, cause I went through that, and you'll feel a whole lot better, just sharing your story,
I mean,
Yeah.
to hear, a lot of the things you talked about today, man. I mean, I see you, you're always happy, you know.
And that's the thing, bro. The people with the most prettiest smiles and the happiest looking face is the ones sometimes it's hurting the most. So that's why people, you just never know what's going on, inside someone's head, how they feeling. And a lot of people will ask, how are you doing? But they really don't want to know. Because if you told them how you really doing, they will cut you off and they would say, hey, I got to go, So, people should just say hello sometime if you really don't want to know how someone's doing. And if you do want to know, really ask, find out, because you never know what someone's going through, you never know. And, like I said, before, man, like years ago, when it was times, when I was alone in that apartment, I felt like just putting my hurt, my pain on other people. But that's not me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm suffering and I feel like I'm suffering and I don't know why, partly because of the alcohol, but, well, a lot of the alcohol, but, me putting my pain on someone else, that's a sucker move, just hurting people because you're hurting. No, it's best to just talk about it, man. Talk about it. You will feel a whole lot better.
Got you.
Yeah, you'll feel a whole lot better. Yeah, and I don't have no degrees, none of that. I don't have none of that, But what I do have is about 25 years of experience with anxiety, panic disorder. You know what I'm saying? Depression. So I know all about it, And like I said, the ones that always smile a lot be the ones that's hurting. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well,
Yeah.
I know it took a lot to come sit down with me and share, man. I truly appreciate you taking the time out, man. And, and I'm sure there's someone watching that's going to be able to take from this, So we appreciate you coming and stopping by, sharing. You always welcome.
You already know.
Man, so I appreciate you. I truly do.
Same here, bro.
And we've always had a great relationship. We've always, been brothers, from day one. And hearing, you go through that struggle, and a lot of times in private, because this is something that I'm learning about, right?
Yeah.
This is something that you truly just took on and handled yourself.
And one more thing, before we wrap up, man, I told you this over the phone at times, I even kept it from you, I'm 50 years old, so you know how long we've been friends?
Absolutely.
We've been friends 35 motherfucking years.
Yeah.
I'm 50.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I kept that from you. And the reason why, because I know my brother. And I know you're going to say, come on, D, we got to go, man. We got to get on this road. Or we got to get on this plane. And I didn't even want you to see me like that, Yeah, man, Because when you know, people is so used to seeing you in a certain way, certain light, and then, you know, you just be like, damn, you know, when you somebody, you know, you see somebody going through them panic attacks and shit, and you just like, damn, what's up with my bro? Like, you know, or, you know, like, I even hid it from my kids. You know, my kids never seen that. You know, and I hid that very well from them. I explained that to them and told them, but they never saw it. You know, they never saw it. You know, yeah.
So that.
Yup.
Okay. Well, listen, appreciate you coming
no
through.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? I mean, I learned a lot about you just sitting with you. We definitely got to have you back so you can continue to share.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, but appreciate you.
Yeah, you already know, man. You my
So
bro
we
for
gon-
life, man.
we
You
gonna
know?
rap.
Scars on the surface, but they deeper within. Every stitch is a chapter, every break is a win. From the pain we ascend, like the phoenix we rise. Scars podcast, where the truth never lies.